welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that has miles of cars in his front yard. It's John Levingood.
So I must have a front yard like the White House then, because that's a lot of space of cars.
Well, you go up, and your neighbors are very worried because you have, 18 Dodge Neons stacked in 10 different rows in your front yard.
So it's like the junkyard in The Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah, or 13 Ghosts.
Okay, very good.
So, okay, John, can you just do me a favor? And since this is our 350th episode, and we talk about a Kurt Russell movie every 25 episodes, we kind of missed one last 25, but we made up for it with Stargate. John, explain this movie, Used Cars, 1980, directed by Robert Zemeckis and written by Bob Gale, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump. I mean, every movie can Polar Express. So many movies. John, explain Used Cars in 20 words or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
A shyster car salesman with high ambitions and a big secret must protect his business. Okay,
There's
look.
a lot to it. This is a movie. All right, one more time.
I don't even know. While I don't know. Well, it's like while protecting a secret. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going. But yeah, it's hard. And whatever. If I give a 20-second description, no one is going to know what to. You know what I should say? A lampoon.
Ooh.
Okay, ready? A shyster car salesman with a secret must protect his business while pursuing his dreams in this lampoonish R-rated comedy.
I like it.
Let
me give it a shot.
All right.
Let's see. A shisty car salesman with hopes of becoming a corrupt politician must keep a car lot afloat for a few days.
Right. Thwarting the dead owner's brother, if you were to just say it.
This is John, all right, so this is a raucous film, and I bought the Shout Factory release. I listened to the commentaries. There's hours worth of just interviews with Bob Gale, and this is a slightly cynical, insane kind of black comedy. This is a dark comedy. I mean, in the first part of this movie, Jack Warden, Fuchs, he dies. They bury him in their, in a pit. And then they proceed to just lie and connive to sell cars and try to. It's just a shisty, and he wants to become a corrupt politician. His whole goal is to get $10,000 so he can become a corrupt politician.
Right. Well, he had the other 40 or 50,000 that he needed, so he just needed 10 grand more. But what's interesting is that all these characters on our protagonists, these anti-heroes, if you will, car lot though. You like them. You're rooting for them. This movie does. I forgive the phrasing of this for my moral fiber, but this movie rewards lying and highly felonious, destructive behavior and lascivious behavior, and you're still 100% on their side all of the time. They do the things that horrible people do, but the characters don't seem like horrible people.
I want to explore something with you, and you make a great point about this, because part of it's Kurt Russell. I mean, he is the shyster of all shysters in this. I mean, and then Jeff, and I mean, Jim's cool, but these guys are, like, they cover up death, and they're just, they're very 1980 characters. But the thing is, in the commentary, what they were saying is, these guys were still good at their jobs. So Kurt Russell, I mean, he could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman with white gloves. Like, he sells these cars to people, and then the bumper falls off immediately. Like, he is polishing, like turning back the odometer. He is just one of the most dishonest car salesmen on the planet, but he's good at it. They seem smart. They seem capable. And so in a lot of these movies, right, where there's anti-heroes, I think you can kind of like them a little bit more if they're good at it. at something. Like, you don't want to watch a anti-hero who's not good at something. I don't know. But that's what they said in this. Like, they're good car salesmen. There's terrible people, but that helps make them more likable. And I agree with that.
I think that they're good at selling cars, but they're not good salesmen.
Yeah.
Well, because they're fooling you. They're usually fooling you.
So I guess they're good at that, right? I mean, I guess they're selling people on a lie. So, I mean, but yeah, they're just straight up lying. But they use these techniques of just forcing people, bring them over with cash, get strippers to dance in their top of their cars.
These guys are doing like a junior league version of individual steps of an Ocean's 11 heist.
Yeah, yeah. It's just this movie, though. I mean, it's so I was watching with my wife Megan. She joins on the podcast a lot. She loved it because it goes for it. But there's a weird heart to it. There's a scene where Rudy likes the daughter, Barbara Fuchs. That's so crazy. Like the studio complained about that. And they're like, no, it's Fuchs. There's actual people whose last names are Fuchs, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. We're not doing anything wrong. And there is. So I just think that he's I don't know. Just Kurt Russell's a likable dude. He's like, you know what's interesting is on the commentary, Kurt Russell hadn't done many movies like this. He had worked on Elvis the year prior with John Carpenter, but he hadn't done Escape to New York yet. He was still sort of the Disney kid. He didn't have that like pedigree. So this is kind of interesting. This is watching a child actor go to R-rated territory. So this must have been interesting to watch in 80, but he nails it because he's still, so in this, he was only 29 when he made this. And so, I don't know, but he still pulls it off. He's rakish, but then he's also very unlikable, but then you feel like he could sell you a car. But I think this was a big step up for Kurt Russell in terms of acting. And I think he nailed it. Yeah.
Well, this was a good time for him to make that transition, right? Because before and after it, you have your Porky's, your Meatballs, your National Lampoon's Animal House, your I think a year after this is Spinal Tap. Not that I'm saying these are similar movies, but like the kind of mature, ridiculous shenanigans, the lampoonish like movies that besieged 1980 in either direction, really just it cultivated a great environment for him to do this. It wasn't a risky movie. I wasn't as risky a movie then because of that, because people were loving these movies at the time.
It's pretty interesting, though, that he didn't really come from a rakish background. Then he jumps into he didn't come from a irascible R-rated dirty comedy background. Right. Then he jumped into this. So I think maybe with Vince Vaughn, with Old School or in the 90s, when these movies sort of had the thing, these guys were already doing those movies. So I think it's pretty, I don't know. I don't know. Also, I just got to say, this is really random, but I love Kurt Russell commentaries because he laughs through 95% of them. He just cackles through all of it. And you know what's funny? Right now is Zemeckis, right? I mean, this is a guy who did Back to the Future. He did Flight. He did The Walk, Allied, Monster House. Like he's been making just these gigantic films for, like, he produced The Frighteners. He directed A Christmas Carol, Castaway, What Lies Beneath, Forrest Gump, Death Becomes Her, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So Romancing the Stone. So right now we know Zemeckis as just being a guy who's won Oscars and made billion-dollar films. But it's funny, it's neat going back to 1980 and seeing this is his first, I mean, aside from I Want to Hold Your Hand, but this is his first big studio picture. And Kurt Russell during it was like, man, you guys were pretty loose during the making of this. He's like, there was a lot of, like, you see the stunts in this movie, John? They feel irresponsible.
No. I watched this with my cousin, and I out loud multiple times pointed out how risky it was when Garrett Graham was standing in the middle of the road and that car sped past. In so many movies, like you see the car speed past and like the cop's radar says 96 and you're watching, you're like, that's about 30 miles an hour. Like this car was really speeding by. You have tons of cars driving at, even if it's not that fast, very close to each other. You have a lot of cars colliding into each other on screen. You have a lot of cars going over curbs with other cars in visual close proximity. And you know a lot about that from all your car work on movies. Yeah. And then you have, even at the very end, when the mile of cars is arriving to the lot, or when the cops were arriving to dig up the mechanics pit, Like these cars are just plowing in, and all very often, Garrett Graham again, when he's being chased by Fuchs by the car, he runs up onto the patio. Fuchs hits the pillar support, and it's Garrett Graham the whole time. You see him in the beginning, ends up on the hood, and like this whole movie, and I can't think, Mark, of unless I'm watching a Donnie Yen or a Jackie Chan or a Tony Jaa movie, right, or a Scott Adkins movie, where I would ever think this about how risky the stunts are.
There's that scene where Garrett Graham is backing up in the road and that car zips right behind him. That car missed him by 2-3 feet. If he would have tripped, or that the stunt driver, Terry Leonard, I believe his name is, who has done pretty much every single movie you can think. Terry Leonard, he missed him by 3 feet, John. He would have killed him. That would have been lights out. And they ramped dummy ramped it, but they ramped that train. That was a private rail line. They got all those cars by just going, hey, college students, come out. We'll put your car in a movie. And all those college students went out with their parents' cars or their cars, got paid a little bit, and a ton of damage got done to their cars. Wow. And like you said, just that when the dude got knocked back into the house, even that fight scene, you could tell the stuntmen were beating a tar out of each other.
Dude.
It's and then they actually had those. It was the stuntman's kids who fell out of that station wagon that got sold.
Okay.
Those are really kids falling into the mud.
In the football outfits.
Yeah, those were kids, and they were a stuntman's kids to do that. They just, so in this thing, in this commentary, they were joking around about the cocaine kids on this movie, and I guess just the cast out there in Phoenix was just, cast and crew was just like, they call them the cocaine kids. They were just rolling hard on partying and insane stunts. And just, I guess from what I've heard, it was a wild production making this thing, but it still works. Right? There's like a youthful second movie exuberance that makes it work. Does that make sense? I don't think a veteran director would make something this loose, fast, and dangerous, if that makes sense.
Right. This feels like sincerely like the shenanigans that someone thought up and never put through the filters of worrying about MPAA or ratings or reviews. It's like, I think that people would love this if I was having beers telling you the story, and that's what I'm putting on film.
Oh, and that's what happened. They went
and cocaine.
Cocaine and beers. Yeah, they went to, so Zemeckis and Gale went to one of their friends from film school's parents owned a car lot, and they went to the car lot and just did research about all different stories that these guys did, used car salesmen did. So a lot of these stories, they say they can only use 10% of them because so many were insane. But they actually use the majority of the stories in this with the odometers, and they put high gasoline in it to hide, high caliber gasoline to hide any of the bumps and sounds, and super gluing things on. And yeah, so you're right. I mean, this is just stories that people told that made it into a movie. And it still has it's not anarchic, it's not like anarchy, the structure of this movie, but it's the wrong word. Anarchy is no rules. This one just has this
entropy.
This one, it plays fast and loose, but it's also quite tight, this movie. But it's very much a hangout picture, if that makes sense. It's not, I have a very hard time explaining what this movie was, because the stunts that they had were not sane, and they're like, we would never do that ever again.
Well, even in the very beginning, right, when he casts that $10 bill across 6 lanes of highway. First off, let's talk about his casting arm. He hit that guy in the head. That's impressive. But then he's pulling it across the street. You see this guy chasing a dollar bill. I don't even know how that actor kept a straight face, because you actually see cars coming and swerving out of the way of him.
Oh gosh. And Kurt Russell, they were talking, he actually jumps. He did some of his own stunts, and then Dick Warlock, his stuntman for years, did the rest of the car gags. But I didn't see, there's no ropes. Nowadays, if this was Tom Cruise, he would be wired and harnessed, which he should.
And we'd still be alarmed at some of the stunts he does. Right.
The jumping of cars in this, John, was insane.
Oh my God.
It made it fun though, right? It made it, oh man. But I'm happy you suggested this, right, for our Kurt Russell?
Well, I mean, we were going to get to it inevitably, but I just knew that I had seen it suggested on my Amazon for a while, so it's been in my head. And then I was thinking, man, I haven't seen used cars in probably like all the way through anyway in like 10 years. And so yeah, it was hot on my list when we were thinking of the next one to do.
You know that car scene when they had the strippers, the lady that Rudy was dancing with, Kurt Russell? She went on to become a director. She directed Dr. Dolittle and a bunch of films. She became a director.
She had the Playboy bunny pasties.
Yeah. And also the script supervisor asked to be part of that scene. And they're like, she couldn't dance, so we just cut her out of the scene.
You know something funny about that scene is that and again, I'm watching this with my cousin. We're kind of like sharing our opinions about it as we go. So of all of the gratuitous nudity I've ever seen in a movie, if I was like, I don't know, 15 or 25 years old, or it doesn't matter, even today, and I'm watching that scene when they're doing that with the music and the dancing, there's something about the music and flashing back to Jack Warden's just appalled, incredulous face, and going back to Kurt Russell dancing, where I felt like it was the most acceptably non-gratuitous display of gratuitous nudity ever. If my mother walked in on me when that was on, I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'd keep laughing.
Whereas the entire family, everyone runs over, right, John? Like the entire crowd,
which is even more laughable, right?
Yeah,
it's like they make such light of it. But like if you're watching a Jason movie or a Freddy movie and there's nudity and your mom walks in, you're going to be like, okay, this is the one scene like this in the movie, Mom, I swear, right? But in this, I don't know. It feels wholesome isn't the word, but it feels so much more acceptable. Mm-hmm. With these characters in this scene, with the music they were playing. The music was very light. It wasn't raunchy. It was actually very light and playful and energetic music. Right? I mean, it was, and they're doing the disco dancing to it. And when he was doing the disco, I'm like, he is bringing his A game right now. And that's a trailer moment from the distance.
Everyone just seemed to be having fun, right? Everyone just seemed to be having a good time. It just didn't seem like not like American Pie where it's a bunch of people watching a video camera against someone not knowing, right? This is just a scene, like a party scene. This is, or like even the camera isn't exact. Oh, there's some gratuitous shots during that thing, but it just seems like a raucous party type scene, not a. I know what you mean. It's still gratuitous, but
even still, it's balanced with things that remind you of the atmosphere of the scene. So it's not like, here's this scene where Jason is stalking someone. Oh, now here's just a close-up of someone's boobs while they're showering. You know, it never feels blatant. It never feels crass. It's not cheap about it. It was very tactful. It made it a part of the scene.
And I think that's why it still has good reviews. I mean, I think that's why it's still fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's why some people say it's still a cult classic. It's good on IMDb. It has a good score all around because I think it is kind of bleak. Like the guy dies and they just bury him. And then he wants to become a corrupt politician and they lie to this people. And these are not good humans, but it has this likability to it. Mm-hmm. It's a very, and you know what also it is Kurt Russell's very open. Rudy Russo is very open in regards to who he is. There's not, he never makes excuses for who he is. He never tries to lie. Like, remember, this sounds bad, but like in Breaking Bad, he was always lying, like, I am not a drug dealer. How dare you? Rudy's just like, let's go. Like, we got to do this. Let's bury this body. Like, he's very unapologetic about who he is. And so is everyone else. And that energy seems to carry through. He's very,
I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, even in the very beginning, his first full scene, right? With the owner who dies very shortly thereafter, he's saying like, did you use the old fishing line thing? It's like, well, come on, I can't sell him if I don't get him onto the lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did. And I also love the scene where he just starts throwing around Luke and just tossing him around. Then he has to give him pills, but he does not care about his well-being at all. Like, he just tosses him around. He's just sort of a force of nature who wants to become a corrupt politician, which is the weirdest plot line, but it works. And I don't know. You know what's interesting too is you get some of these gratuitous or these National Lampoon-esque movies where you get kind of like man children, like in Hall Pass or Old School, or you get all these different types. Like Rudy's not that guy. Rudy is not I wouldn't call him a man child. He's not a mopey, worried about his life. He's just I mean, he has a lot of celery and pickles and beer in his fridge, which is just
That's all of it. I love his refrigerator. It's
yeah.
Why the celery?
Maybe he's doing vodka tomato juice in the morning to wake
in
up.
the morning. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It
like
does, but I would have liked to have seen that somewhere.
It was the 80s. Doesn't he like peanut butter and celery? Does that make so? I don't like these movies where the character is really mopey or he just going through a midlife crisis.
We're gonna watch them get their pickup. Right. It's not that.
I'm mopey for no reason, or I'm just Rudy's just a force of nature who's completely open about who he is. He has a little bit of character development in this. He actually ends up helping out at the end by insane manners, and he's still going to be shisty the rest of his life. But I like when we meet him, he's not down and out. He's not. I feel like Rudy could go anywhere and do all right. He's just that type of guy. Like he could find a used car lot anywhere in the world and be fine. It's just, or maybe not. Maybe he's on parole. But I like that kind of character, and that character speaks to me more so than just, oh, I'm a man. You know, it's not like I'm not happy with my life, so I'm gonna start a fraternity. Like I don't like that. Like that's why I like Rudy, and maybe that's why this movie also works well because he is so unapologetic. He just does these schemes. He interrupts the president's address, and
whatever.
You know, they went to Washington D.C. and dressed up in suits and went on top of a building and shot something, and no one questioned them. But they actually went up there. They scouted it, and they acted like they knew what they were doing, and shot that scene. They went to D.C. for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know. It's just and you know those guys are capable though. Michael McKean, who from Spinal Tap, like these guys actually interrupted a presidential address, or they went to a football game. They went to the football game because they had no budget and all the cars were parked there anyway. Then they did that for production value when there was a football game. They knew that they could interrupt that and get people watching. So these are like, they got some pretty capable people pulling off some pretty shisty stunts. And that's another refreshing thing to it. I know I keep saying, do you know what I mean? But that's another reason why I enjoy this movie. It's capable people going through these things.
Well, and, you know, it's like we talk about with so many, you know, people who do a great film for their first film on a low budget, and then they get a big budget, and people aren't as impressed with whatever they do. Well, like they were forced to be creative.
Yeah, and they were, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love when that guy got his chest bopped. Remember, he had the pacemaker installed, and the guy hit it.
If I can make and install a pacemaker and have it in this man's chest, and he's like whapping it, and it's like half sticking out. He's whapping it, and they even say like, "So how do you change the battery?" He's like, "Oh, I just." so ridiculous.
But I love that about it. The guy actually made a functioning pacemaker. Like I like those characters.
Right. In this world, we are given that as not exaggeration, but actual truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, I love Hot Rod. I love movies like that. But he's not a good stuntman. So you're just watching this guy who's not good at anything maybe become good at something. I like watching people who are already capable to begin with sort of going through. But that is a lot of Kurt Russell, right? We've talked about so many of his films. Where Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., Snake's extremely capable, but he's out of his league, but he keeps moving forward. Big Trouble in Little China, he just keeps moving forward. He's a truck driver, good reflexes. I think that's like the Kurt Russell motto right there, is keep going forward. He doesn't stop in his movies, if that makes sense. Yeah, Captain Ron. Holy crap, right?
We're going to the island just to the left of it.
Wow. So would you say that? Like, and even Hateful Eight, he's the capable guy who just kind of keeps moving forward.
Yeah, there's no regrouping. There's never the regrouping scene where I have to assemble a team. He's just like, this is what I've got. Next step.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's a pretty good theme, though, in his movies, isn't it?
Right.
Oh, man. So, I mean, you went and rewatched this again. I mean, what was the difference between a full watch now and a full watch 10 years ago for you?
Boy, you know, it's like, I don't know how to put it other than younger John, you know, like 30-year-old John, or even 20-something-year-old John, or teenage John watching this is just watching a movie that is back to back over the top hilarious gags. Mm-hmm. Like, and because they're so criminal, you laugh even harder at the shooting cars on camera while the owner of the cars is watching it on TV while the presidential address is being interrupted, right?
it's interesting the things you can pull off in movies when you have a certain lead. Where I think if you had another lead in it, it would come across completely different. If I mean, imagine if Chevy Chase was in that, it would be I don't know. Or
with his like blander delivery, his
yeah,
more like deadpan delivery. Yeah, I don't think it would be as good. He does he does a little manic well, and he does deadpan or straight well. I don't know about this.
mm-hmm.
There's so many of these gags though, and the movie's so rich with gags. You never go very long without a gag, without something where you would at least be thinking in your head, "Oh my god." Like even in the beginning, before the gags, this is what I'm still reflecting on watching this as like 18, 20, 30, whatever. So I'm not really taking in the whole product. I'm just always in the moment when I watch a movie that is this good and this on point and this unrelenting at being ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And I love unrelenting ridiculousness.
Yes.
I like that. And I found the quote that I was looking for that I couldn't find before. But what I like about Rudy, and I think Bob Gale summed it up when he said he's honest about his dishonesty. Sure. It's a quote I really like about that. And also, when they came up with this movie, they were still young, and so they built this movie around scenes. So they built this movie around the insane car thing at the end with people counting that massive cattle, like almost a stampede of cars. They wrote it around 3 or 4 moments, and they built it around it. But this movie could have been just like build to a set piece, build to a set piece. But there's enough little gags and tiny moments. Oh, okay. So one of the best moments in the movie, and I didn't catch this. I had to listen to the commentary. But when Jack Warden's dying, and the guy's like, "Here's my money. Here's my money. Take my money."
Because before he was saying $50 never killed anyone.
And then he's like, "Take my money. I'm sorry. Well, he's handing his money, and the guy's dying. He's a used car salesman, a car sales lot owner, and he still takes the guy's money. Like that guy's like, "Give me the money," and Jack Warden takes the money. Like that's because he's a car salesman. He wants the money.
That scene, I'm watching that scene, and I'm like, you laugh hard at things, but when you're by yourself, you actually tend to laugh less, even though it's internalized. Mm-hmm. That is a scene where I'm just like yelling in my living room by myself, because when he breaks in, his face, like the pressure that he generates to get his face all red, and he immediately is drooling 2 streams out of either side of his mouth of like thick, it looks like milk curd coming out of his mouth. I'm like, you could have put this shot, that 2-second shot of him breaking down through the door, in a zombie movie, and it would be an impressive scene in a zombie movie. I mean, it's so good. He is so giving it his all. It's such a funny thing.
Jack Warden turned this movie down. This was his first R-rated movie. And then they eventually just said, okay, you can play both characters, because people want to have death scenes. They want to play 2 characters in the same movie. That's what Zemeckis was saying. So Jack Warden's like, I can play 2 characters and swear. So he's like, all right, cool. But he's fun in this movie, man. He really brings it, Warden does. And this is an inside baseball type thing, but when they were on set, Garrett Graham was trying to talk really slow. I am going to say my dialogue really slow so that I can get more screen time.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
Jack Warden goes up to him like, listen, man, you're doing it all wrong. He's like, the key is when you're talking slow, they can cut away from you because you're talking slow. The key is to talk really fast. Hey, I got this used car. I'm gonna sell it to you for $50, and then we're gonna go over here and drink some pina coladas. Like when you talk fast, they can't cut away. So when you're talking fast, they can't cut to somebody else. That's why you talk fast. So then Garrett Graham, and if you think about all the screwball comedies from the 50s, how fast they talk. Now they did that because they wanted to save film. Like Warner Brothers, they said, talk fast on set so we can save money. We don't use as much film. But also they didn't have to cut away from him as much. So he taught Garrett Graham to talk faster. That way they couldn't cut away on the set of this movie. So if you watch it again, you'll sort of see some scenes where he's talking a little slow, and then some scenes where he's going really fast. And that's after Warden talked to him about, listen, man, they can't cut away from you. And Zemeckis is like, that son of a bitch was right. It was pretty funny. It's good inside baseball stuff. But if you watch the movie and listen to his line delivery, you'll really notice that trend.
He was great, too. Garrett Graham, well, I guess his age is why, it's like he's not so big in my memory other than like a handful movies, mostly horror. Like he was in
Mm.
Terror Vision, which is a really weird horror comedy.
Child's Play 2,
Um,
right?
right, Child's Play 2. He was the adoptive parent
Hmm.
that took in Andy. But that was a rather minor role compared to Terror Vision. But yeah, he's got screen time. But I think of him in movies like that, and then this, and I feel I wish that I saw more of him. And I know every now and then I see him in a movie and then I totally forget about it.
Hmm.
But it's just not the kind of movie that sticks in my head. But man, I really like him. I wish I owned more movies where I knew he was in it.
I think that's why Jeff works well, because Graham doesn't have that big of a name, so you're able to just look at him as Jeff in this movie.
He does a great job. And then all of his
He hates
superstition,
red cars.
which actually not doesn't just carry throughout the movie, it builds and crescendos to a very exciting scene in the movie when Rudy bets all that money
Hmm.
on the football game where it was like a sure win or something. And he's like throwing salt and breaking a window and crawling under a ladder and just being utterly ridiculous.
Crawling under a ladder.
Right, crawling under a
Yeah.
ladder like a maniac behind a bar. I
Breaking
mean,
windows.
it's just lunacy. And then, of course, when he stops driving, because he sees in a reflection in some mirror truck that
Yeah.
his car that got sprayed with water is actually has red paint underneath it, and he has a superstition about red cars, and even that built into meeting our female protagonist, Deborah Harmon.
Yep, Deborah Harmon, Barbara
Deb-
Fuchs.
Deborah Harmon, like that, like so that character's most notable characteristic wasn't forced on us necessarily, except for maybe the first time it's just there. But that characteristic stuck
Hmm.
the whole way through and built the movie, and then it gave us that launch over the train.
Ugh.
And it's just so good. When that car hits, there's so many times that cars are doing things where I'm like,
Oh gosh.
they're not cars. That car's not going to run for another 5 minutes.
No, it's done. Yeah, and Terry Leonard actually wanted to do that stunt, the stunt coordinator, and they're like, "No, you are not doing this, Terry Leonard. That's stupid." But they nailed that jump, and there was a dummy
That
in the
car hit at like a 45-degree angle. That looked tragic to me.
Yeah. Oh man, but what a great practical stunt. And I think this movie ages better than most of these screwball, or no, I'm sorry, not screwball, R-rated Lampoon movies of the time.
Lampoonish. I mean, there's a screwball element,
Yeah.
but this is not a slap. As over the top as it is, this movie is not slapstick.
It's kind of an adult comedy. Does that make it's a
Yeah. No, I'm
it's
with you. I'm with you there.
yeah.
It
Imagine
even
being 80 and being like a 42-year-old guy and walking into that movie, or a family walking into it, or just a car salesman. You would crack up at it. It's Airplane kind of wiped this out of the theaters at the time because Airplane did all the business. But yeah, it's an adult. I'm not saying like it's an adult comedy,
I
but I
gotta say,
think
a lot of the
kids can like
humor
it too.
made me think that it was targeting, not precluding other groups, if you will, but targeting middle-aged men, specifically middle.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
nature of the nudity, the dad who was watching the girl topless and the pirated ad, and he's like getting upset and wrestling, like telling everyone to shut up, get out of the way of the TV, and you see him smiling and he's so happy, and then you see him at the car lot the next day.
Mhm.
When you see, and also I think of even just other aspects of life, when you first see Jack Warden as our antagonist Fuchs across the street with the binoculars, he's like, he's got a bad heart, just one bad tick, and that car lot is mine. Like
Mhm.
he doesn't give two shits about his family. He just wants that lot, and things about inheritance. And I feel like that was, it's not in a selfish way, but that was something that is just something that happens in life. That, oh, well, Frank and his wife just got that house. It's like, well, yeah, but his father passed and they got that money. Sometimes people think about that not in a selfish way, and some people do think about it in a selfish way. But I honestly felt I felt like older me responding to that more than younger me would. Younger me would just see some murderous guy. And I'm seeing someone who's waiting to inherit someone. I'm thinking of these movies where Kevin Kline is asking for a down payment on his inheritance.
Yeah.
Remember? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's from his rich father. It's like, you're going to die one day anyway, and it's going to be mine anyway. Why do I even have to wait? There's a selfishness there. It may or may not mean that you don't care about the person with the money or the asset that's there to inherit. But this is a weird thing. Weird things cross your mind, right? I say that as someone whose parents aren't around anymore, and I don't mean that in a dark way. But you inherit things in your life. It's harder because they're gone, but it can be easier because of the financial legacy that they left you. And so he's doing this, and I'm just like reacting to these things because now my life is so much different than it was 10 years ago when I last saw this. And it's just, and it actually makes him seem even more nefarious to me.
Yeah. I mean,
because now it's not just funny to me because it's so over the top. Like, this guy wants to kill his brother. No, he wants to kill his brother to inherit what he has because his daughter is off the map and he doesn't have a spouse and no one that he cares about will get it. And it goes to him. Like, it all of a sudden feels more calculating because I'm at the age where I can appreciate how calculating it is. And let's just talk about our antagonist, by the way. He wants to kill his brother.
He has a guy essentially go do that. That guy,
right?
That driver kills him.
A secondhand hitman.
Again, a hitman, an inadvertent hitman.
But the hitman knows what he's doing, though. He knows what his job is.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a guy you want to keep around. But okay, so they're going to build an overpass on the highway. But why can't both exist? Because they're going to bulldoze his because of the overpass?
Because the on-ramp or whatever is going to go right through his lot.
And so they're not going to wipe out anything. It's just, they're going to wipe out his dealership because the on-ramp goes onto it?
Well, so in the beginning, he just wanted to get control of the inventory of his brother, where the ramp was going to go anyway, but he wasn't telling him that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. Why don't you just tell him that so that he'll be more incentivized to sell?
You're right.
But instead, he doesn't tell him that, and he's trying to still lowball him, I guess. So he'll have the biggest inventory and be the biggest car dealer in the Southwest, his exact words, which really shocked me because it's a used car dealer. But then later in the movie, the plot shifts, and even though he's been funneling money into political campaign accounts, they've decided it's going on the other side of the road, and now it's going through bad brother Jack Warden Fuchs' lot. So now it's even more important for him to get control. So I guess he can just move everything over there and keep the business going.
That's what it is. It's
a little more convoluted than it needs to be.
I wish you would have seen John's face while he's explaining that thing.
I was thinking pretty hard. Like I might have had a constipated look, thinking pretty hard while I was trying to work that out in real time.
So Ebert was writing about this movie, and I mean, let's say you talk about old school. 3 dudes start a fraternity at a college and have a midlife crisis, and they do that. Other Animal House, a bunch of randy fraternity guys try to save their frat. Ebert said he likes that, but then you trying to explain this movie, it gets he said there's too much to it. I disagree with him on that, but I also I appreciate that it's not so simple, and
there's too much to it to explain if you're a movie critic.
Yeah, and also it's interesting. Kurt Russell said, I didn't know how to promote this because what's your movie about? It's about a used car salesman / politician trying to save his lot, I guess. And is that like the pitch?
Right, hard R comedy
about a guy trying to save his used car lot.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's hard to promote. So I guess they had some trouble promoting this film, even though people loved it. But hey, how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we have a lot more to talk about. I just want to make sure we get an ad in here. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more used cars. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And John, we haven't even talked about how the finale of this film happens when Barbara Fuchs comes back. She kind of realizes that her and Rudy kind of fall for each other, but then she realizes she's a shyster. And then she shoots a commercial about her lot, and then they dub her voice to make it seem like she has miles of cars, and then they take her to court on a slander, like lying charge, which they could probably just say, hey, she was dubbed here. I did not say that. So they figure out that the way to solve this in a packed court, by the way, this is pretty interesting. That's a packed court case for just a line in a car commercial. But the way to solve it is to get 250 high school students who, I guess the high school teacher's still mad at Rudy because he sold them horrible cars that probably can't run. 250 of them buying from a guy named Manuel and driving over under 2 hours, and driving in a caravan to park in the lot so that when the judge and the cops show up and they measure all the cars, it's over a mile.
Yes.
I love it. And I love the car stunts that come out of this. I mean, this is old fashioned car jumping, but it's such a weird ending. It's okay. So here's what it is.
And you feel so good as basic as the ending is.
Yeah. It's basic ending, and you get this gigantic. You know what's interesting too? Zemeckis was joking around about this, where they didn't realize how dusty it would be. So they'd have 250 cars on set, but you could only see 3 of them because it was so dusty. Like, we didn't even think about watering down everything. So they had 250 cars driving, but no one could see anything because of the dust. And like, that was so dangerous. And then with Kurt Russell, the car in front of him and the car in back of him were stunt drivers. But the cars, 2 cars back, and next to him 2 cars back, were 16, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds flying down the road during these car gags. So, I mean, that's so irresponsible, John. It blows my mind. And they were like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. But, man, I'm telling you, this is only something, they were 28 at the time, Zemeckis and Bob Gale. This is something a 28-year-old would think of.
Again, I can't. Other than when I'm watching a martial arts movie where this guy is doing his own physical, like, fight stunts, right, or diving around, I can never immediately recall not only doing it this much, but doing it at all, where I think, oh my God, that's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was watching Fury Road, and you have lots of vehicles going very fast, way out in the open on flat, very, very flat, actually, much safer ground, right? But flat ground. At high speeds, and even with the polecat scenes, but of course then the vehicles aren't actually physically moving fast when they're filming that. It's just, but I've never thought watching Fury Road, oh my God, holy crap, that's so dangerous. I just think, holy crap, what they did looks so cool.
Yeah, it's
right?
impressive.
I'm in the moment of this action scene where Bruce Willis is doing this in this movie. I never think it's so dangerous. Watching this movie, I'm like, oh my God, that almost hit that actor. Holy crap, those cars they're bottoming out left and right. It could bottom out and stop, and someone could rear end it. It probably happened. Yep. Where someone bottomed out going over like that Arizona terrain. Mm-hmm. And after they bottom out and a wheel well breaks off, you know what I mean? Or a wheel breaks off in the wheel well. Someone just slams into them, and there's all this dust. It's so dangerous, dude.
It's insane. And that's the production value right there. That's what makes it look good. They actually did that. I would never allow that. I really wouldn't. Because they did. You watch it in 2021, 41 years after this movie was made, and it still looks pretty legit. Like, it looks good. No, I want to say I just remembered one scene from this movie I did not like, and I wish I made the character seem more creepy. And when they had the hole in the bathroom door, and Kurt Russell was looking through it, that was the one scene I did not like. I'm like, why, Rudy? You're not this. You're not that guy. I don't know. That was the one scene I didn't like. That felt creepy to me. The rest of it felt very rapscallion and let's see, decent hearted and sort of that I didn't like. I saw that and I was like, oh man. And I don't even think I would have enjoyed that when I was younger, but in 80, like, Meatballs and all those, like Revenge of the Nerds, those all had a ton of peephole moments. But I did not like that scene. That's just I
Revenge
just
of the
want to get
Nerds had sex crimes in it too.
Yes,
Like
it
that
did.
was it's amazing how I'm not going to say how times have changed, but how people's acceptance of certain things, even in film, have changed. And it's like, at the time we all just laugh at that.
Yeah.
Ah, you really got that guy good using his girlfriend to do it. Well, we're not talking about the Revenge of the Nerds, but if anyone wants to see that, it's shockingly criminal, really, that movie, like really bad.
That was a hit. You know what I mean? Like that was, I don't know. What do you think about the fight inside the car dealership?
I love the fight. You mean Jack Warden fighting
Yeah,
Garrett Graham? Oh my God. So that's another scene
brutal.
where I'm flipping out because there are a couple times when a punch is thrown by Fuchs' character, and I can tell it's a stunt guy. And there are other times when, well, I mean, you see Jack Warden's face in it doing this stuff. Like I think it was him when he hit the chair on the ceiling and fell over. Not that was a physical feat.
What a great gag.
It's a stunt where you could get hurt, and just kicking around, breaking things, picking up glass, which may or may not have been his hand, but still, like, just all this stuff going. That scene is bonkers. He's very violent throughout the movie. He's so criminal.
I learned how they filmed that. So what they did was they would do wide shots of the two stuntmen just beating the tar out of each other, and then so they shot that first. And then when they watched it, they realized where they had to put the two actors in.
Mm-hmm.
So the actors did some of their own stunts, of course, but they somehow edited it quite seamlessly where you could see Garrett and Jack, but then the stuntmen were also hidden pretty well. And it built to a really comical, I mean, there's flying tackles, there's chairs being broken on people. Jack Warden's character drop kicks a door. So they really do a good job of, I wish more fight scenes would do that, where you get a few good moves, you get some wide shots, but then you also get shots of the actors. They did a good job of editing that. So it was a good thing.
I have a ridiculous comparison to make. So today I watched The Crow, which I hadn't seen in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that the fights, the physical choreography and stunts, not the gunfights, the more hand-to-hand fights, were not as good as they were in used cars. I'm not kidding. I'm not ragging on The Crow. I'm just saying that the fight that we're talking about right now was better than any physical hand-to-hand fight overall that I saw in The Crow the very next day after watching Used Cars. My cousin agreed. This is so funny because, I mean, it has a lot of cool action in it, but it's not a big budget movie. This movie really brought it for action, I guess, is the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Because The Crow is stronger on its gunplay. I almost feel like movies like The Matrix, obviously The Matrix is looking at things like Hard Boiled, but I think they're also looking at just other recent predecessors. I think they're looking at some of the scenes that we see in The Crow with the gunplay. The gunplay action is great.
Yeah.
The physical
mood.
hand-to-hand with a goon in an alley, it's not good. It's not good.
No, I agree. I guess Crow's more about style, right? Over the fights.
It's such an MTV movie.
Yeah.
I never remembered it that way, but it is. Watching it was an interesting experience at age damn near 40. Now.
I think Terry Leonard gets a lot of that. He should get a lot of that respect because this is a guy who had been working since, 1963. He was on McClintock, El Dorado. He worked with John Wayne. He did the stunts in Planet of the Apes. This is a guy who worked his way up through the industry. And so he was in the Shootist, and then he ended up working on Apocalypse Now. He was the stunt coordinator on Apocalypse Now. He was in Vietnam for a year just blowing stuff up. I mean, this guy, so then he did 1941, but then he did Blues Brothers. He did the car gags. Oh, that maybe helps, right? Because he did a lot of the car gags on Blues Brothers, which have some of the greatest chases ever and a lot of car smashing on that. So he came from Blues Brothers to Used Cars. But then this guy went on to do, 48 Hours. And then he moved on to Christine, Gremlins, Red Dawn, Starman, Cobra. Then he did, Backdraft, Showdown in Little Tokyo. Yes. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Tombstone. Hey now. Quick and the Dead, Die Hard with a Vengeance. He's still working on Furious 7, The Sum of All Fears, Joyride, Too Fast, Too Furious, Death Proof, Walk Hard, Faster. So he's done a lot of car movies. So I wonder, oh wow, man, he's done some huge stuff. But yeah, I wonder if I don't know, but he just knew how to fight. I think he was just that old school guy that just I don't know, because I'm telling you're right. That fight in this movie is legit. That's a great fight scene.
There are haymakers that are thrown that, at least by virtue of camera angle, seem very close to their target.
They said the stuntmen were just like beating the snot out of each other.
Okay, well maybe that's why it looked like it was so close. They're really whapping, man.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great fight, and I think Terry Leonard, though, I just think he has this gung ho attitude. I mean, he went out there with the cars. He went out there with the fights. The one gag he was most scared to do was kicking the television in, and so they had to ground him. And they gave him a special boot. And then when you watch him kick the TV, he pulls out really quickly because he didn't want to be electrocuted. That was the gag that scared him the most on this movie. He wanted to jump the train. They wouldn't let him. So I think they had these 28-year-old guys directing the movie.
We were crazy at 28 too. When you think about it, we
exactly.
were crazy.
Dude, crazy. And also Kurt Russell and the crew, they called the crew the Cocaine Kids. So you have 28-year-old director. You have the Cocaine Kids crew. Then you have Terry Leonard, who's a maniac and just got done with Apocalypse Now in Vietnam. I mean, that's a bonkers movie with the stunts. So you have, I think, this culmination of just people going, yeah, let's do it. And that's why it looks great. And it's held up. I imagine that, John. You're a crafty stunt coordinator and you're working with these crazy 28-year-olds and they're like, John, we trust you. And you're already out of your mind. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, this movie's going to get crazy. I don't know, but no one really got seriously injured. The kids fell out of the car; they were just fine. They did say though, during the stripping scene, they missed filming a stunt. There's a car that smashes to the left, and they didn't even get it on camera. But yeah, during that entire scene, I didn't hear any reports of anybody getting hurt. So it's just one of those lucky. They got lucky. Would you say they got lucky? Because those cars
with all the stuff that they did in this movie, yeah,
yeah, it seemed like just a bunch of crazy but. You know what else it is? I think these were people who were a little out of their minds, but they were also good at what they were doing. So maybe that's another reason why it wasn't too, not everybody was killed during the make of this film, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, man. I dig it. It's just another different variation of Kurt Russell too. I mean, if you think about all the movies we've covered, who is the closest to Rudy Russo?
Jack Burson when he's undercover in the massage parlor in The Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. What's the difference between Jack Burton and Rudy? I think Rudy's more confident. Like, remember the scene in Big Trouble in Little China when Kim Cattrall's rubbing up against him and he goes, stop, like I can't focus. Like he's very uncomfortable.
I think that the difference is 5 years of age. And I think that slightly older Jack Burton has failed at a few things in his life or had things not work out as he thought it would, whether or not he admits it or realizes it. And so he takes slightly more care in his actions than, hot and ready 29-year-old Rudy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he's still impulsive. He's just less impulsive. He's still a blowhard and a press forward, but it's differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're comparing to other John Carpenter movies here. Fuchs was the name of one of the characters in The Thing that Kurt Russell did the next year. Or 2 years later.
You're right. Yeah.
There's a Fuchs. And in this movie, there are in fact 3 Fuchs. I mean, was Rudy actually really lucky that none of the 3 Fuchs that he interacted with in this movie were The Thing?
I should. Oh wow, Kurt Russell and Fuchs. They have a good history.
Spelled the same. Fucks. I'm sorry. Fuchs. I didn't mean to spell a swear. Just then. Fuchs. Fuchs.
Oh, I love. And I have another question for you. Is there any better cinematic yeller than Frank McRae in this movie? He's the mechanic in this. If you remember him, I don't know if you remember him in Last Action Hero. He plays the chief whose job it was just to scream. And he's in Loaded Weapon 1, Captain Doyle, where he screams.
When he was the high prices monster in the pirated ad,
Yeah.
I was howling. Like he had a screech like the Nazgul just spotted the ring.
Oh man.
He was so
And everyone's just looking at him going, what's happening? Yeah, and
that guy brings a lot to this movie. I'm going to call him one of the more minor characters of a very big ensemble cast. But like, he has multiple scenes where he's sleeping. There's always something ridiculous going on while he's sleeping, like a spray gun for paint, a blowtorch. He gets peed on his head by the dog when he's asleep.
Yeah, and he has the guitar sleeping.
Right, yeah, in his underwear.
Yeah.
And after they lose the lot. So his sleep game is strong. And Mark, you've done so many things with walking in movies. I wonder if you wouldn't one day put together a good sleep list. Because like Captain Ron is a good competitor for at least one scene, but he has some really memorable sleep scenes.
I should go through this and just do a montage of pictures of his sleeping scenes. And I love that he had a great career after this. I mean, beforehand he did Rocky 2, but he went on, he did 48 Hours. Then he popped up for a little bit in Vacation. He had a minor role in Red Dawn. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember. I haven't seen that in too long.
I think he walked out and got shot. He's one of the first guys to get shot in Red. And he was in Batteries Not Included, License to Kill.
Batteries Not Included. He was like either the dishwasher or the fry line guy, right?
Yeah. And then he was lightning. He went on to he played Doyle in a couple movies, which is really interesting. But no, I mean, I like the characters in this just feel. And there's that scene where he's cooking on that gross. I don't know what he's grilling.
I think that he was either doing chicken or ribs because he was painting them over and over again with barbecue sauce. And I was so upset when he didn't just close the grill. He got a fire extinguisher. They're hard pressed for money, and he just fire extinguished them. All you had to do was close the grill.
Yeah, cut the oxygen off. But once again, it's just a movie with interesting characters. I mean, what did you think about the subplot involving the daughter? I mean, that's very underwritten, and I think Debbie Harmon probably wasn't given the best role, especially at the end of the car. They were kind of making fun of I mean, she just sort of plays the stock daughter who comes into town, but I think she makes what she has likable.
Good laughs along the way, but she is the one character that I specifically feel badly for.
Yeah.
Not throughout the whole thing, but like it's almost like she breaks even. She hardly comes out a winner in my eyes at the end because she's constantly being lied to, and even when she's happy, you know she's being lied to. Mm-hmm. Then she discovers what's happening. The thing with the ticket when they're out at the Mexican restaurant, like I don't. Then she's the one who's made to look a fool, even though it forwards the plot with dubbing her ad after she seems troll. She is just the scapegoat of all worst things that can happen to someone in this.
Yeah.
She plays a good character. You see her introduction in the car lot when they thought incorrectly that she was from the Consumer Protection Agency. Wonderful scene. Very strong introduction to a character. We know it's really the daughter, probably. Right. We know that's why she's asking for the owner. But that was a great scene. And then after that, she does well with what she has. But right. Like she just becomes almost like a writing tool.
Yeah. I don't like it when movies do that. Like you just take all the agency out of it.
She's a plot device after that. And it started so strong. And again, I'm not disappointed with it, though. I'm not saying it's a bad character. I'm not saying that at all. And the things that play around her don't ill affect my enjoyment of the movie. It keeps it going well. Mm-hmm. But again, yeah, like I do realize that I could have felt much better for them after the judge measures and the license plate pops out of the busted car so that it hits the appropriate length of 5,280 feet of cars. And then she talks to Kurt Russell and they have their last lines. It didn't hit me as much. The warmth of it didn't hit me as much because their journey spent too little time with honesty and alliance. I feel like they needed 10 or 20 more minutes of honesty and alliance in the movie to balance at the end after all of the lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
if
It
that makes
doesn't.
sense.
No, I'm with you, and I don't know, and that's what's tough too, John. Can you imagine another 20 minutes on this movie? So you
Oh
got, I
no,
guess.
but in other words, just shifting these
Oh,
events in the movie earlier
oh, got
and
it.
then making it so that they were on the same team for more of the running time.
Not just
So,
being lied to the entire
so that
film.
she was in on what was going on for more. Get the lies out earlier in the film, meet her a little earlier in the film, and just have it intermingled with all these other scenes that we're seeing. Because the order, it matters, but it's adjustable, some of
Hmm.
the scenes. But again, at the end, I felt happy because they won. I didn't necessarily feel happy directly for Kurt Russell and Deborah Harmon,
Hmm.
you know, being together at the end. It didn't have the warm fuzzy quite that, it's nice, but it wasn't quite there. I didn't feel like they did this together as much. Although it was fun, the whole scene with them getting the cars and they're in the back of the car together. You know, Jack Warden has a wrench to her, like holding her hostage.
Oh
Kurt
man,
Russell comes over, like, but give me one more substantial scene, if you will,
yeah.
of the movie. I'm not saying 20 more minutes of her, but of the movie where they're on the same side. I think that would have helped it a lot. Um,
One funny line was one of the producers was like, "Why did you guys shoot at a bowling alley? Like, you know how loud
right.
that is? Like, that's what made that was." And so then they had to have people fake bowling in the background.
I do love though that he's like, you just won yourself a dinner for two at the finest restaurant in town, and I just might throw myself in. And he's like, oh, great salad bar, you're gonna love it. Airline lanes, a
Yeah.
bowling alley near an airport. Like how just he just picked the cheapest place he could think of,
Oh, but he
obviously.
said it's the greatest. Oh man, but he's honest about his dishonesty. Like you kind of know he's shifty. So hey, I have a
No,
question. Real quick, John.
okay.
Do you want to jump into our listener question, or do you have some more stuff to cover
I
on this
just wanted
movie?
to mention one other character that we haven't mentioned,
Uh-oh.
the dog.
Oh yeah, what a great dog. Oh, you killed the dog.
That dog, though, was throughout the movie. That dog wasn't a one scene gag
Yep.
like Snot was in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which was a great gag with a great dog ad, right? But this dog is throughout the movie a great character. The dog, Fuchs says, like, get me an Allen, whatever, a Phillips head screwdriver. And then the dog comes back with the screwdriver after it gets it out of the toolbox and he says, I said a Phillips head. And the
Yeah.
dog runs and gets something else. The dog is running to get help all the time. The dog is trying to thwart off evil brother Fuchs multiple times.
Hmm.
The dog pees on, I can't think of his name's head, who's always asleep.
Hmm.
Pees on his
Oh,
head,
Jim's.
Jim's head, to get him to come see what happened, that they discovered where that thing is. Like, and then yeah, the scene with Garrett Graham and the dog and the guy who was watching the nudie pirated commercial to buy the car. That dog's okay. I was a little alarmed actually. I didn't notice this. My cousin said something. At first, I was thinking this is the best dog acting I've ever seen. That dog goes so limp. I actually wondered if they sedated him.
Yeah. I mean, they've done it in the past.
But either way, that scene was so great. That dog was adorable and did some awesome things and felt like a character, a
Most
minor
val-
character.
MVD, most valuable dog.
Definitely.
Even the dog
That's
had character. The dog was likable, and this the wrench. And, oh man, I love this movie. I'm happy I own it now. I'm happy the Show Factory released this like legit edition of it. Makes me so. It makes up for the Escape from LA one that has absolutely nothing on it, and they upcharge like $27. Sorry, I'm still salty about that, John. I love Escape from LA, but come on, Shout, that wasn't very good. Now, do you want to get into this funky listener question we got?
okay. So yeah. So my lab mate at the USDA entomology lab here, well, not here now. I'm not there now, but my lab mate Michael sent in something of a thesis. So to that extent, over the years, we've had some very long listener questions, and there was a time when we thought that like 3 lines in an email was long, and then my buddy Dirty D Dylan in Australia gave us a super long one, and I
Mm-hmm.
think in the last calendar year, Johnny Num gave us a super long kind of thesis like question and thesis thing. But here we go. This pertains to used cars, was kind of the theme. It's more about the movie Pixar's Cars. So Michael says, Pixar's Cars, fun kids movie with a terrifying background? It's no secret that Pixar movies are prepared with Easter eggs from other movies, but this got me thinking. While watching the movies for the 15th time with my 18-month-old son, I got to thinking, how did the Cars world come to be? I noticed a couple of Easter eggs hidden across the Cars franchise that got me thinking. Is the Cars world set in the human world after the fall of humanity? The By and Large logo can be seen in several scenes in the Cars world. For example, Lightning McQueen's trailer, as well as along the track that they race on. You also see the Pizza Planet truck in the third Cars movie, which also makes an appearance among the rubble of the WALL-E movie.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, how did the Cars world come to be? How are the cars made? You do see baby cars in the movies, but they specifically mention that some cars are no longer manufactured in the second Cars movie. Is there some dark, menacing place on the planet, like in the movie The Matrix Revolutions, where machines build these cars? Is By and Large responsible for the destruction of Earth, which might have brought about the creation of the world for cars? The By and Large logo is also seen on the batteries for Buzz Lightyear's back. So did the toys rise up themselves and create the cars? Is By and Large to blame or to thank for the creation of our Cars universe? Which brings me to one last question. Does Lightning McQueen carry car insurance or health insurance? For the record, my wife looks at me like I'm an absolute nut for looking at a kid's movie in such a dark way. I blame my love for horror movies and John for making me watch Event Horizon. So
I love it.
This boils down to 3 questions. Okay. Do you have any general reactions before we get into this? He came up with this in about 10 minutes.
So I'm gonna send you a picture on chat, and there's a theory that came out about what these cars are, and I'm not quite so sure I agree with it. I just want to send you a picture, John, and you're going to have a really weird reaction to it when you see this picture on Skype. So I'm sending you a picture in Skype.
In Skype, right, okay. So we're this is already getting. Yeah. This is a multimedia approach.
And so a lot of people have theories that the Cars world sort of takes place on a universe like our own, but entirely free of humans. But that doesn't make sense because there's still some of the same logos, right? So you wouldn't have the
elements
same logos.
From WALL-E and from and Toy Story. The batteries are By and Large.
So some people think that it happened years later, thousands and thousands of years later, and the cars have evolved from that. But then there's also this really weird theory that there's people inside the cars and they're attached to the vehicle, and they use. Have you seen the picture yet?
No. So
they're saying that these people, like the Earth was destroyed and there weren't that many people left. So, this world is actually free of human people, and it's not as though humans never existed. The cars have like doors and windows and side view mirrors. All those are specifically designed for humans' use inside a car. But, they have the same written human language as we do. So, it would make no sense if you were a car. So they're saying that humans live inside these things. There are human beings inside the cars and are the source of the car's personality, intelligence, everything. The mechanical car is just the external body of these human-derived creatures. I call this the homunculus theory. And so they're saying that there's a body inserted, like in the Matrix, and they control the vehicle, and they never leave it because they could never control it. I don't believe that, but that's a theory out.
That seems like someone came up with something radical and clever over beer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I dislike the theory. I disagree with its validity for the evidence that we're given.
Yeah.
How about that?
I don't agree with that. But I think this is obviously a world where language was created. Is it naive to think that our language would be the same on another planet? Yes, that would be very naive to think it would be the exact same, correct?
Fair.
So,
Very fair.
yeah, that'd be insane if an alien comes out. Hey, y'all. Uh, so these cars are on Earth.
I would say so,
Yeah.
especially with the overview of Pixar movie facts that Michael has laid in front of us. I'd say
Yeah.
it has to be Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably well in the future. A question is how far in the future. Is it between Toy Story and Wall-E? Is it after Wall-E? Is it after mankind period, let alone mankind on Earth? Like, what if Wall-E is just in one of many areas that's a huge, gigantic dumping ground wasteland, but another continent is like where Cars is?
Oh, think about this. These humans inside of the Wall-E vehicle, right? Inside of the Wall-E spaceship, they weren't walking. They were being carted around by
Because they were fat.
very intelligent, um, like wheelchairs.
Like hover chairs, yeah, like hover whatevers, yeah.
So when they go to Earth and have never walked a day in their life, they might have developed something similar to
So if they
cars.
returned to Earth when we saw the plant, you mean?
Yeah.
When we learned Earth was habitable again? So when they returned to Earth, did they, was that just year one out of maybe 300 years of gradual adaptation to some cybernetic android trajectory? And who knows if like a kind of Skynet thing happened with some self-awareness, some T2 self-awareness, and then you rolled into a Matrix situation where they really were in charge, but they're not necessarily pirating your human consciousness. It's just that at some point your consciousness is manifested as an embryo, put into a car, and that's your existence, and you're happy with that existence. You have control of that car.
Look at them in Wall-E, right? They are sitting down anyway. They're not moving. They're in these chairs all the time. They don't know how to walk. So I could really see them, like you said, forming this over hundreds of years, thousands of years into that kind of car.
I do feel though like this wouldn't have been purely on the human decision trajectory. I feel like at some point AI had a stronger hand and maybe started making decisions for us.
Well,
Like
didn't
we
it do that in Wall-E? Didn't that Wall-E? Wall-E. Didn't it do that in Wall-E? The computer was too intelligent and they had to fight against the computer in Wall-E.
I don't remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
I think that was for the safety controls of the ship.
Yeah, but I mean that was kind of taken over. The safety controls sort of took over already. So that exists, right? There could be a technology that sucks people into their vehicles.
I'm telling you, man, I'm going with the Skynet Matrix thing. No, just in a less nefarious way.
I mean, technology had already taken over their lives in Wall-E.
Yeah, like I mean it more like in the movie AI or Bicentennial Man, where it's doing what's best for mankind as it perceives it.
Everyone seems happy in the Cars world.
These,
Or
yeah, they do.
now, I want to say though, the writers had this to say: we try not to go there. We just try not to go there. There's a surreal level of disbelief that you're having to jump already coming into the world, and where you're talking, and when you there are talking cars. We think we know what cars are in our world, and they have serve a completely different purpose in the Cars world. There's for transportation in our world, and they don't really transport each other in their world, so they become characters. We lean into that so much as we can and try not to get too hung up on surreal nuts and bolts, I guess. Even Cars kicking is like kissing is like Clank hitting metal together. It's funny because you have these hunks of metal, but at some point you can't take it too far because it starts falling apart. But I think we just did it, John.
You know, I'd even go Transformers
Yeah.
and Allspark.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be an Allspark situation. I think there are a lot of ways that this works.
Oh man. And also a guy did a thing where he just put body parts inside the cars.
Oh,
So
come
there's
on.
brains.
This is fun for a horror conversation, but
Yeah.
it's pretty macabre for this conversation. I love that someone's saying these things.
But I like our idea because you saw the people in Wall-E were already happy to give themselves away to technology. So imagine them in a few hundred years.
Mm-hmm. Or I mean, who knows even longer, right? Who knows?
Thousands of years.
1,000,
yeah.
right?
And they could have seen the stores that were still there. They would have known about the batteries. They could have recreated that. They could have taken those names. They all spoke English.
Oh my goodness. There's a Netflix show. I can't think of its name. It's about a computer platform afterlife. You know what I'm talking about?
Oof, computer platform. Wait, I don't know.
It's like an afterlife movie.
Well, I know there's an afterlife movie on Amazon that's about people getting inserted into something.
Your consciousness is put into this. Okay. So what if it was like that? What if this planet is a physical manifestation of people who have existed? Their consciousness are put in these cars.
Yeah, I could see that.
Although we have too much evidence for our other hypotheses, though.
Yeah, I like our one, though. They come back to Earth. I think that's when it starts, John.
We just give it like 1,000 years of decisions, right?
I think we did it.
Wait, hold on, though. But then, would Lightning McQueen, given the mentality, the psychology of our characters, is he carrying life insurance or car insurance? What do they call it in this world?
Well, it's got to be health insurance. Because we don't call it people insurance here.
Well, we don't. I don't know what they call it.
But, so, hey, do you have health insurance? Yeah, I have health insurance. So if you
I have life insurance as well.
Yeah, do you have life insurance? I do. So if you're a car, I have. They're going to say I have health insurance because I am myself.
Right. They're referring to their own health. Right.
Yeah.
We've seen cars with limps.
That's right. So I have health insurance. I don't have because that'd be like. I guess
this is a psychological approach, right? When we're thinking of the cars, that's really the way to think of it.
If a car says I have car insurance, that'd be the same as a human going, I have human insurance.
Right. But maybe the alternative hypothesis to defend the other part would be that over time, at some point, there was car insurance, and now we have cars.
Yeah, but then they had to have switched it.
But I guess we're using the consciousness of humans. So you're using human psychology at some point, human knowledge, human thought processes.
So they'll still call it health insurance.
I think so. I'm leaning more and more towards that. Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy about this.
I think so. Or maybe they just don't live in a litigious world. And when someone who can't afford the damage that is incurred to them during an accident, everyone just works together and helps them out. There's no insurance.
John. Okay. So
there are nice people in that Cars world.
Really nice people. Can I just ask you a question? What we're saying is that the people from WALL-E came back home.
Yes.
And since they were already so taken over with tech and their vehicles, who are we to say that thousands of years, hundreds of years later, this system hasn't happened?
I mean, we have no right to say that couldn't reasonably happen. I'm with it.
We can't top this. This was good.
I'm with it. And there's so many times in sci-fi where it is almost like it is delivered to us as either, not necessarily by a protagonist, but as inevitable that we will be replaced. Even if our consciousness is there and there's some biology, that we will be replaced with this more ideal physical medium, right? These robots. It's not that we'll necessarily be replaced with robots, although sometimes they say things like that in artificial intelligence. But like a lot of times in sci-fi movies, they refer to just having a greater form, being cybernetic. You have even in Hobbs and Shaw, we have Black Superman, Idris Elba. He's enhanced. You have movies where people, Ghost in the Shell, the Ghost in the Shell series, right? Where people are almost only conscious, right? You have some people who are purely robots, or some robots that are purely robots with AI. You have some things that are purely robots that have an actual human consciousness that was from a living human brain. And then you have all these other people who, depending on their affordability, the wealthier they are, the more modifications they have, literally into their brain, like plugging something in the back of your head, like Neo. Like there are a lot of sci-fi things that go in directions like this. Upgrade, yes, thank you. And Upgrade is arguably either a not too distant future or a present where there's just an outlier of technology. And that's just step one. What happens in 100 years and 200 years? So I think a lot of sci-fi historically touches on these things. And so it's not like it would be such a unique idea or a ridiculous idea to suggest that at some point humans deliberately or willfully gave up their physical, genetically produced being, as long as you have your mind in your control, for a different idealized form that can't catch a cold, that doesn't get tired the same way, as long as you're properly fueled, if you will, or charged. I mean, it sounds very gratifying, doesn't it? If you didn't have to sleep ever, if you didn't get tired, that would be a hell of an improvement to your life. If you couldn't get sick, I mean, other things can happen to you, but other things can happen to us. These are very desirable notions, and at some point in the time of making little consolations, little changes, it doesn't, because it's not like we're saying, oh, let's put ourselves in cars, and now we're in cars. That's a ridiculous jump, right? But at some point, maybe that's just what's available and doable and locomotively friendly, and they made them more flexible, some kind of all-sparky thing, because we see a lot of very flexible movements in them. They aren't literally cars with human brains. They are very flexible animated cars.
Yeah, they can move around. They can squish.
Right. Or even like a transformer. A transformer can purse its lips, air quotes.
Yeah, even though they're metal.
Right, but they can purse them. There's a lot of moving parts there.
I love it. This is great.
Boy, it's funny. I thought that he covered all the depth of the conversation. I didn't realize we could take it any deeper than he already did when he was laying it all out. But I guess
this is why I love these.
Well, thanks a lot to Mike. Mike listens to our podcasts and, of course, all the other podcasts you do, Mark, including Deep Blue Sea, which we listen to together when we're doing curatorial insect work in the lab, because we can listen without being distracted while pinning insects.
Hey, you're a guest of that show.
One time, yep.
Twice.
Heard that? Twice. And you guys only have like 8 episodes left of that. We're wondering what you're gonna do when that runs out.
Oh, we got a couple things in plan, but no, this was fun, man. Thank you so much for joining me. This was great. A great way to spend our 350th episode.
So wait, can I ambush you with something?
Yeah.
I want to do a movie judge draft.
Oh.
Because I'm dropping it on you. On you, because this movie judge in this movie is so incredibly awesome. Like, I love his characteristics, his control, all his little punishment toys that he has at his little judges pew, platform, podium, whatever we call it. So I think it should be short, because this is incredibly challenging. So why don't we each just do 3 of our favorite movie judges, and we'll give a little blurb about why. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I like it. Can I go first? Let me pull up this movie here.
I'll let you go.
All right. So this is a really random one, and I don't know why, and I don't even know if it's all right. But in the movie Liar Liar,
go ahead.
Judge Marshall Stevens. But I like that scene where he's like, "Yeah, if you don't go to the bathroom, it can hurt you later on." And then the judge goes, "Okay. We're calling a recess. I'll be right back." But that just makes me laugh every time I think about that movie. When he says it, and the judge goes, "Oh, okay, I'll be back," because I have to go to the bathroom. I don't want to have problems later on. I just love that scene, and it just makes me laugh. So I'm doing that.
Okay, so your choice is, what was it?
Judge Marshall Stevens
from
Liar Liar.
I remember liking all his facial expressions when he was watching Jim Carrey too. Yeah. Like it was less of a written role and more of just an acted role. I really like that. And for the record, by the way, Mark, I thought 0 about this ahead of time. I just thought of this when I realized we haven't really discussed the judge.
Hey, this is the best way to do it. I love it.
And how about also, we don't include this movie?
Okay.
Got it. My first choice, I was scribbling notes while you were researching. My first choice is Fred Gwynn from My Cousin Vinny.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he's funny. He's 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 super intimidating, but he's also funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's got so, I mean, he's such an integral part of the whole movie though, right? I mean, really, the movie boils down to, you know, what Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei, Ralph Macchio, and his friend. I can't think of his friend's name. Fred Gwynn and Lane Smith from actually Animal House, National Lampoon's Animal House, who's the sheriff
Mm-hmm.
and the bailiff. Those are our big main characters. But Fred Gwynn is in it so hard. I love everything from the introductory interview, the formality for him to practice out of state, him asking him about his history and law, all of the issues that recur about wardrobe, if you will, appropriate attire in court, and putting him in contempt of court multiple times when they're questioning Marissa Tomei. It's all so beautiful. I love that movie.
Oh man. All right. So I'm up next, huh? This
Huh?
is tough. I'm not gonna. Okay. I know there's better one. I'm not gonna say Jury Duty movie because I don't even remember that guy. Let's see what other movies. You know what? This one. So it's based on a true story, but after reading a lot about this court case and learning about the history of this, I'd feel bad not to
Hmm.
include this guy because he's such an interesting judge. I'm gonna go with Julius. Let's see. What act? What? Who? Judge Julius. Sorry. Judge Julius Hoffman from the trial of Chicago 7.
What is this? I don't know this movie.
So this is a movie written by Aaron Sorkin on Netflix this year. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz. It'll definitely get some nominations.
Is this
But
out yet?
yeah, it's on Netflix. But Frank Langella is in it, and if you read the true story about this guy, he was not a good judge, and a lot of the things that he did got pushed against him. But Frank Langella is excellent in it, so I'm going to do that. I'm going
Okay.
to say Judge Julius Hoffman from the
I
trial of
can't
Chicago
react to
7.
that other than now I'm interested in seeing that. All right, I'm gonna say, oh, I can't think of his name, but the judge from Valkenvania in Nothing But Trouble, played
Oh
by
gosh.
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh. Oh
That
man.
judge was maybe he cares about his family and everything, right? But maybe a little evil. He collected the bones of the people he executed. He thought that people needed to be put to death for being a banker,
Yeah.
and that's the double death. He actually
Oh.
says it in that. He's going to like let him off and pardon him if he marries his John Candy played daughter. Like
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
all
Oh, I love it.
right, your third choice.
Okay, I think I got us a pretty good one here. I think so. And this one makes me laugh. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right, I gotta pull this up real quick because I was just thinking about this movie the other day, and I actually really want to watch it again because it's funny, and I think Reese Witherspoon is really good in it.
Is this from
And
Legally Blonde?
yeah, the judge in this. Well, who's the judge?
I
Let's
haven't
see,
seen that
judge.
movie in forever.
But I love when that guy walks by her and she goes, "I object." Like he whistles at her, "I object." I don't know. I can't even think of the name.
That's all right.
Let's see. I don't know. She's a funny judge in that. So I'm taking the judge from what's her name? Let's see. Hey, there's a movie in a minute. She's funny in this movie though. So let's see. What's her name? Judge Jamie Atkinson? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Judge Jamie Atkinson
Okay.
from Legally Blonde. Just because I love that line where that guy goes, whistles at her, "I object." And then she's in the court case and then she figures out a few clues to prove that the lady was guilty. It's just good detective work.
It had to
And
do with perms, the timing of the perm.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I like it. Elle's super industrious and she's smart, so I'm doing that.
Okay, I've scribbled down two honorable mentions that I'm not picking. I'm going to
Okay,
say
do
them
it.
first. First, that movie On the Basis of Sex was great, and that is about the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh yeah.
If we've seen that movie, and
Hmm.
that came to mind, but I'm not picking that as my judge because in most of that movie, it's really just her working her way to ultimately, it's her journey, not her judgeship. Uh, I'm also not picking a one scene phenom, Ghostbusters 2. the judge who was there finding the Ghostbusters guilty because of the goo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Scoleri brothers, who he put to death years ago, come out in their electric chairs in ghost form from the goo. Or no, when they opened the containment unit there. Yep. Right? Like, but I'm not using that. I'm using, ready? We're connecting to my cousin Vinny, Lane Smith as the judge in Runaway Jury.
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to pick that one because you love it.
Runaway Jury?
Yeah, I thought you were going to do that one.
I do really, 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 really love that movie.
I stayed away from Judge Dredd, so I figured that would make you happy.
Well, that would have caught me off guard, actually.
I was going
to... But I love that judge dealing with, like, John Cusack's shenanigans, manipulating the court or manipulating the jury. I really love it when he sneaks out after he sabotages the lunch order, and he goes to see the lunch, and the lunch is just appalled. Like, what are you doing here? Like, I should hold you in contempt. It's like, no, you understand. Like, everyone's hungry. It's like, we got to record back in 20 minutes. Like, they're still hungry. And he says, the jury has no lunch. And then he talks him into inviting everyone to where the judge is eating, this hoity-toity place, and it's this really cute, happy scene. And he's kind of judging and a little eye-rolling, but getting along with everyone, like while he's watching John Cusack across the table. But he was a great judge in that movie. That was another movie where the judge was very involved throughout. Actually, all the movies I picked are movies where the judges are very involved throughout. Although the Scoleri brothers judge in Ghostbusters 2, I really kind of wanted to pick.
Oh, so, I just want to know a quick update for Legally Blonde. Her name's Marina Bickford. Classic Marina Bick Ford.
We've got Liar Liar, The Trial of the Chicago 7, and Legally Blonde. And I have My Cousin Vinny, Nothing But Trouble, and Runaway Jury.
I love it. That's fun.
Those are some... It's rare that I stop and think about judges in movies, but the judge in this movie was so good. I really loved his character. His idiosyncrasies were rich.
You love this movie, too, which makes me happy.
Oh, yeah. No, I adore this movie. I loved this movie when I was a teenager. Of course, then I'm even closer to the time, right? I think that a lot of movies like this would not hold up well, or not hold up well isn't the right phrase, would not satisfy a viewer in their 20s unless they grew up watching their parents' favorite movies, which some people do, right? But I think it's hard to come into this totally cold in your 20s. Whereas in your 30s, it gets easier. In your late 30s, you've grown up with more movies like this, closer to your birth year, so more likely to be syndicated on TV. So a lot of those movies don't hold up as well. I think that this one probably would hold up better. It's got really solid pacing. The characters are all very rich because it's not just the gags the characters go through. These characters, in my opinion, are far more rich than Revenge of the Nerds, than Meatballs, not than Caddyshack. Caddyshack had some rich characters, but like this is very rich characters too. And even though the gags are like dumb, they do it with a straight face. They're almost letting you know that they know that they're dumb. And in this world, their straight face makes other people believe the dog gag with The Rock, right? With
they play it so well. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, John, sum up your thoughts about this movie in 20 words or less.
Well, I think I just did it, but in more than 20 words. Okay. This is the raunchy 80s movie that will hold up to younger generations and that you don't have to feel guilty for liking.
I agree. And Kurt Russell's the best.
Kurt Russell's the best. He really is.
Well, thank you for joining me, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yep. Amen.
All right, this is great. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for John Levengood, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.